Quad Vena II is a great alternative to many amplifier streamers on the market, and it is an underrated in my opinion in that regard. And this will be a last one of my retrospective reviews to review a gear I had in the past before I started this channel. Well, this will be the last one of significant gear I used to have in the past. And it is one of my most mysterious buys, as I bought it in a store when I was recommended by a seller to buy it. I wanted to try those all-in-one solutions, and I came with intentions to buy Audiolab 6000A Play. About that time they could not sell me one as they were out of stock and had problems with the delivery chain. So they recommend me something similar in that price range. And I was intrigued by mystery of that device. I had at that moment no experience with quad. The seller told me it is a best amp in its price level. I have to listen to it, and so I did. And I really don't know about best in class, but it was more like mature Denon I used to have, but also it has this really engrossing, encompassing bass. It did not blow my mind, I can tell you that, but I wanted something different than others, so I ended with this amp, not knowing how interesting sonic adventures we are going to have. What I ended up with was an extraordinary all-around amp streamer that is meant to satisfy a large variety of audiophile lovers. But to start first with the basics, Vena II is an AB amplifier with a power of 45 watts in 8 ohms and 65 watts in 4 ohms. It is a decent power in this level. It can drive many speakers in similar price range, and it can comfortably drive and open many even more expensive ones. But I cannot say with certainty that it can drive every speaker, especially those sensitive ones. It is also decently equipped with a great phono input, which we will talk about more later, 2 more analog inputs and additional pre-out, as this amp to work solely as a pre-amplifier. Also coaxial, digital and USB input. Yes, I love when amps have USB input. It allows via DAC inside the amp to connect to your PC and play 16 and 24-bit files and DSD up to 256. And of course the Bluetooth connection, the aptX, including DTS Play-Fi streaming module inside, which I grow over time to really dislike. It is not a wealth of options, but it can satisfy many needs. And let's talk about DAC Inside. It's an ESS 9018 reference DAC. It is not the latest or the greatest from ES Sabre, but it is a decent chip. I think its utility and implementation is how well it is going to behave within a machine, as there are a couple of devices using this DAC and its sound does vary in character and quality. But I think its connection with external transports and computers is where it excels. It manages to operate in realm of organization the sound, removing the noise floor pretty decently. You can definitely tell listening music via your PC, which in past I used to do often, now super rarely, sounds more grand in scope. It does organize better all instruments on soundstage, providing a clearer picture into what is happening within the music itself. And the box itself, the design is really compact, making it among smaller full integrated amps. That makes it easy to be incorporated in many spaces. Now the looks are very utilistic with just controls to select channels, volume and headphones input. I will not say it is bad, but I will not put many praises to it either. But one thing I really liked is the light near the volume knob. It looks so great, but for its utility look comes a great plus of this amp, as it can look really inconspicuous in your stands, and among other gear, making it easy to be part of a bigger system with its size and looks. Now, this was an interesting essay about looks, but here comes the most important part, and that is sound, the mother of all hi-fi devices. And I strongly believe in hi-fi there is no good and bad sound. There is not. There is a sound which is compared to three things, and that is: does sound characteristics fit your needs? Does it bring value in price range it is? And how it compares to similar devices. Firstly off, sound characteristics of this device is that it leans on the warmer sound, but with a lot of muscle and emphasis on bass. And right away it should start painting a picture in your head about sound it reproduces. Truly, let's speak about the greatest strength, and that is how authoritative this amp is. Even though it has 45 watts, it did drive lower end of my speakers with ease and command, making thumping, pulsating sounds with the drums and bass driven music. It was so much grounded and it was so much fun. As it is a big sound, it is an encompassing spectrum. It allows lower notes to be more present. And when you have presence and enough space for bass, it starts showing up its details. And unlike treble, which can easily have its details shown, bass can be shy with details quite often, as many companies push for larger scope and definition of bass rather that it have its presence heard. But with bookshelves, you can rarely get that big sound. Mostly for that you will need a subwoofer, and subwoofer mostly come with its active amps and are fantastic. So what other amps should do is what Quad Vena II does, and it makes bass detailed and present. It makes movement of E strings felt with texture, so I can see the material properties of those strings. Same thing for double bass on drums, make me feel when stick reaches a drum, and what properties you can feel that way. So it is not about how much air or body and density the sound of bass have. It is about precision and textures as well, and this amp does this so great. If you like electronic music, this amp is a dream, or some good jazz, this might be for you more than you expect. But let's go up on dynamic scale and talk about mids. One of the most usual suspects of quality of mids can be felt with a vocal reproduction and guitars and pianos, but I like to see the quality of vocals reproduction to get grasp of mids. And the separation of instruments was good. You can clearly tell them defined and put in soundstage, but as clearly this amp aims for more strong presentation. It will have vocals that are more oriented towards vocals that have weight, in most cases male vocals. It will appear with a definition and size, but not the most focused or present. It will come from lungs, the way the vocals sound, with a big inflections and timbre. In reality, the reproduction of mids on soundstage was good, but some other amps in this price range offer more separation here from other. But that is expected with sound like this. But what it does great is how firmly it remained focused to deliver a lot of drive movement. And combine that with bass, it made listening music interestingly fun. It really did. I had a lot of fun to listen to rock music through this amp, as guitars when chugging and shredding had a lot of drive and definition. So let's sum up the mids. Great presence and definition, lot of weight and mass, good separation but not the best, also good soundstage which opens the instruments but also not the best in class. Treble is a bit different story. As story with every warm amp, treble suffers in process. Well, not suffers, but it is not so energized and present with warm sound. And also, presentation of Vena II is a bit leaner there and shy, and is if you want upbeat close to your presentation, you might not get that with this amp. It is not passionate amp in that regard, as those percussions, violinas, cymbals are not separated so precisely and thoroughly. Same like the mids, There are separation there, don't get me wrong. There are textures and details there, don't get me wrong. But for device in €1,000 plus, it would be wrong of me to say that to me this is the best you can get. Instruments had textures which allowed to me to conceptualize it more on a soundstage. They were closer together, but they were present and vivid, just not the biggest bloom and presence. You can see them, feel them, you can deduct them with the brain, but it will not blow you with clarity and transparency. Maybe that is something to be said for all the sonic aspects of this amp, is that it does not allow the blackness of backgrounds or some amazing separation, but it does allow for sound to shave those unpleasant highs and to ground the bright speakers. And I can tell, as pairing and synergy goes, you can easily take your buffers with this and it will ground them nicely. But like with any warm amp, there is no bad synergy, only better. So this definitely works best with balanced speakers, and then bright and in the end kinda worst with the warm speakers, as it sounds too warm, but maybe someone like it that way. One aspect I have to mention as being better than the most amps in this price range is phono input. It is decent. It really is a big compliment I can give. Usually phonos in integrated amps are afterthoughts, but here it works pretty good. It still cannot compete with external phono preamplifiers, but same like DAC, it is what it is when you get this integrated box. It truly made turntable open more than with other integrated amps. What Quad says is it is a high quality, low noise GFAT based circuitry with precise RAAA integration. Read that however you want, but it is one phono integrated amp that did not left me disappointed. Now the streamer, same like all other components in integrated system, doesn't expect miracles here, but what you can expect is much better sound via direct streaming rather than, I don't know, through Bluetooth or connecting your TV through amp to play music. I think greatest strength of streamer lies in that how much it utilizes the strength of this amp to play music. There is no boxiness, there is no lack of dynamics. Soundstage is more freed out. It is an audiophile way to listen to music. It is a glimpse of what pleasures you can get when incorporating external music streamers, but it is all in one box. You buy Vena II Play and add speakers and you are in your audiophile odyssey. And that is such a great plus for just 100 to 200 euros. You don't have to bother with additional boxes about synergy, about pairing, just for your listening pleasures. Add speakers and you're done. Let's speak about alternatives, and let's speak about the device in the title of this video. Why Audiolab 6000A Play? It is because they are very similar devices in specs, even in price, and the same DAC and the same streamer. The only difference is size and connectivity. They even use the same streaming module and application. But there is something else it picked up my attention now that I do this retrospectively. Why did Audiolab 6000A Play got so much better sales than Quad Vena II? It is not which one is better device, only which one had better numbers being pushed and moved, just statistics. If you were to ask me which one of these two devices to recommend, I would always ask you what you want from your music. Audiolab as device is built around idea of expanding horizons and really putting a lot of emphasis on mids. Sound is airy and there's a lot of dynamics in all the instruments that are in middle of section of dynamic scale, but that is done by sacrificing in treble and bass. It creates a sound of a device which is used to open the soundstage, create a better focus in mids, to exploit the richness, but also to not have that much character. It creates a wonderful seasons of listening music, especially relaxed ones. Vena II is not that precise of an amp. It is not opening some new horizons for you, but it does create a fun full sound. It is a much weightier full sound that is marching and commanding. Both of the amps do things greatly, but none does all things great, and it is what you expect from this amp will be the one you choose. So, are people more open to clarity and wideness of soundstage and richer vocals than to a definition of bass, weight, presence, and fun? I don't know, it's not something for me to discover without interviewing audiophiles, especially the last thing, fun. Fun for some might not be fun for others. But Audiolab have become a hit. 6000A is in many homes who did not even know for Audiolab prior to this boom 5 years ago. Now people know what Audiolab is. How should companies even approach this? Is Audiolab's sonic character a blueprint for success? Or was marketing of Audiolab just that much better than Quad? As to me, they are a fantastic alternatives to each other. None is better than other, and both provides a lot of value for money. If you want to hear me talk more about Audiolab 6000, please look at my review. It will be linked in the description below. A great alternative with similar sonic quality is Denon Pma 900HNE. Honestly, sonic quality they are very similar. Warmer sound with big body and presence. It is really hard for me to be here and try to compare this bit by bit, as I think if you enjoyed previously mentioned qualities of sound, you will also really enjoy the Denons. Maybe Quad have a bit more refinement in treble and mids, as I felt a bit more details extraction with it. But to me, there are few points that you need to dissect when choosing one or other. Firstly off, Quad is far smaller amp, so it is more inconspicuous and easy to find a room in your system. Denon have more connections than Quad. Denon's application is far better in experience and in design than Play-Fi. One thing more, while I praised Quad's phono input from other integrated amps, I know, tell me, the Denon have a great phono input. But one thing more, Denon have far more ace in its sleeve, and beside a moving magnet, it can also use moving coil cartridges with Denon. And the most important aspect is Denon is cheaper, and that could be a big selling point. But you should demo both of these devices and you might find your next great musical partner to follow you on your journey. If you need an amp that will work great with your bright speakers, or if you look for an amp that can work as AV receiver alternative with its defined and weighty bass, an amp that is small but mighty with just add speakers motto to bring fun musical sound that can envelop the room and make you want to tap your hands in the rhythm of the song, then consider Quad Vena II. It is a great amp, and when the price drops a little bit, it could be a fantastic value amp. But I cannot say that now, not with many great alternatives. But it might be for you, and it might be in the end rock your world. And it could be out of all the alternatives the one which is the best one for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed my content, please consider liking, subscribing, and donating by Patreon if you can. Everything is appreciated, so keep daydreaming and see you in the next video. Bye!